good everyone? It's 23MJ88 back with another video today, and for today's video we're going to take a look at the Jordan Zion 1 performance review. So just to start things out with the Jordan Zion 1, we're going to take a quick look at the details on this shoe. So on the back of the shoe, it's kind of like a faux croc skin, or even kind of like a patent leather. As you can see, it's shiny. And then on the back of the shoe, on the heel, it does say Zion going down. And then there is a NBLYYDY, which I'm not sure what that's for. You can let me know down in the comments if you know. It does say Shock the World right here on the medial side. And then Let's Dance on the other side of that. And then on the tongue, there is his ZW logo with a Jumpman near the toe. And that's pretty much it on the Zion 1 as far as the details go. So as far as the traction goes on the Zion 1, I would have to say these are decent at best. I think these would be great outdoors, as that rubber compound is just super hard. As you can see, it's kind of a zigzag pattern from the heel all the way to the forefoot. And I found these to be great when they weren't dirty, but as soon as they collected dust, I found them to be sliding out ever so slightly, which was a little bit annoying. But I really can't knock them because as a whole, they were pretty good on dusty and clean floors. Obviously on dusty floors, I had to wipe pretty much every play. But as far as the traction goes on the Zion 1, I would have to give these a pretty solid 8 out of 10. And then again, outdoors, I think these would perform fantastic because the rubber compound is just super firm, and these grooves are actually pretty deep as well. And then just another thing I wanted to note on this outsole for the traction is the pattern does wrap up on the medial side ever so slightly, and on the heel portion here as well. So if your foot is kind of dragging sideways on the court, you're going to have that extra traction kind of wrapping up the side of the shoe. So as far as the cushion setup on the Zion 1, underneath that insole you do have a Air Strobel unit, which again isn't my favorite. I prefer the Zoom Air as it's a lot more springy. And then underneath that in the forefoot you do have a second bag, and it is actually a Zoom Air unit, which for me I couldn't feel at all. Even with 15 to 20 hours of playing in these, I couldn't feel the Zoom Air bag at all. I really only felt the Air Strobel unit. And then the foam compound is Phylon, and it is on the firmer side. So as far as the cushion goes, I would have to give it a 7.5 out of 10 at best. For me, it really wasn't this shoe's strong point. And I think for a player like Zion, I think he's really going to unlock the potential of this shoe. But me being around 205 pounds, I just really did not enjoy this setup because it was a bit more on the firm side. So as far as the materials go on the Jordan Zion 1, you do have this kind of faux croc skin on the back, and then you do have this screen mesh here on the forefoot, and then some fuse right here on the toe for toe offs for extra durability. And as far as these materials go, I actually really like the croc skin. It looks pretty cool. Obviously he's playing in New Orleans, so it kind of has that whole theme. But for me, again, this is a really cheap setup, and I think these were $130 US, 170 Canadian. So I think for that price point, you're kind of getting what you pay for, and it is somewhat breathable here in the forefoot. And then the tongue as well, it kind of has those little like neoprene memory foam pads here, just for extra cushion when you're tying those laces tight. So as far as the materials go, again, it's nothing special, and I would actually have to give it about a 7.5 out of 10. It's not my favorite material setup, but it's not bad either, especially in this heel. I really do enjoy that faux croc skin look. And then as far as the weight goes of the Jordan Zion 1, my size 10.5 does come in at 14 ounces. So this is a pretty light shoe, all things considered, especially for a player like Zion, being how big he is. So that's actually pretty impressive. As far as the sizing goes on the Zion 1, I found this shoe to be a little bit narrow, and it was true to size as far as my toe length went, but these extra little wings here on the side, these lace loops, I found them to kind of be rubbing my foot within the shoe. So again, I would say the length is true to size, which this is a size 10.5, but I did have some rubbing on the forefoot. These eyelets here on the inside of the shoe just seemed to be rubbing against my foot, which did cause a bit of pain for the break-in period. But again, as far as the fit on the Zion 1, it really wasn't a sloppy fit, and it really locked my foot in nice. So as far as the fit goes, I would have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. So one of the strong suits of this shoe, I would have to say, is the support. This is a mid-cut shoe, and then in the heel, you do have an internal heel counter, which I found to be very rigid. And then you do have these two lower eyelets that are orange on either side, and they're kind of wings that go down into the footbed. So if you start tying your shoes up near the bottom eyelets and you really crank them down, that's really going to prevent your foot from rolling over the footbed, which I found these to do a fantastic job. But like I said, I did have a little pain there on the fit for the break-in period, but after that initial pain, they really didn't cause any issues. And then again, these two eyelets really offered great support. And then one of the craziest features is really just how wide this shoe is in the forefoot, and this outrigger is just absolutely insane. Obviously, Zion being like 285 pounds, this shoe has to have some great support, and it really does. It doesn't have a shank plate in the middle as far as what it seems, as this shoe is super flexible, which I'm quite surprised for Zion's height and weight. But everything else, all things considered, I think this is a great overall package for support. So as far as the support goes on this shoe, I found it to be probably the shoe's strongest point, and I would have to give it a very solid 9 out of 10. So can I recommend the Zion 1 from Jordan Brand? As far as the looks go, I find this shoe to be super generic. The first thing I thought of actually when I saw this shoe was in NBA 2K when they put those generic 2K shoes on players. That's what this shoe looked like. It's really not striking at all, which I think you need to do for a player's first signature shoe. Again, you do kind of have that Z here in the black for Zion, but for me, I think this shoe is just a miss as far as the aesthetics go. But as far as the overall package that you're getting, if you like a firmer cushion setup, I think you'll like this because it does have that Air Strobel unit in the forefoot. If you're a heavier player, you may feel that Zoom Air, but for me, I just really didn't. Again, the traction for me was decent at best with collecting a lot of dust. I don't know if that was just this gum bottom, if a solid outsole would be a little bit better, but for me, I did have that issue with these. And then again, materials being pretty cheap, the support features on this shoe being a mid-cut with that internal heel counter, those two eyelets, and that super wide and stable base with the outrigger. I found it to be great, but again, for me, at retail price, I wouldn't recommend these. I would say if these go on 50% off and you want an outdoor shoe, I would say this is the shoe to get because it's super supportive, and that rubber compound on the bottom is just super, super firm. But with that being said, are you guys excited for the Jordan Zion 1? Or was the Zion 1 just a bust as a whole? For me, I am excited to see what the second shoe looks like from his line from Jordan Brand. And I know he really hasn't played at all this year with his foot injury, but regardless, I'm always interested to see what the next signature shoe looks like, if they're going to build off this platform or really go for a more striking look. But like I said, that's going to do it for today's performance review of the Jordan Zion 1. As always, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that helps the channel out a ton. Stick around for the on-court footage at the end of the video, and as always, we'll see you next time. Peace.
the turf. I never switch sides like